the Americana podcast. A look behind the scenes of Europe's most important Western equestrian event. Talks with trainers, organizers and helpers.
Characteristics. Name.
Cira Baeck.
Nickname.
I don't have any.
Age.
37.
Job.
Horse trainer.
Hobby.
Don't really have any.
Special marks or habits.
I don't really have any.
Do you do a compensation sport to riding?
No.
Your idol.
Billhorn.
The one special horse.
I have more than just one special horse.
The motto of your life.
What doesn't kill you make you stronger.
Wine or beer.
Wine.
Coffee or tea.
Coffee.
Sweet or salty.
Salty.
Mare or stud.
Mare.
Early riser or late sleeper.
Late sleeper.
Class clown or nerd.
Nerd.
Forest or the sea.
Forest.
So, Cira, you were the first female $1 million rider in Europe. What means that title for you?
Well, the title means a lot to me. Ever since I got into reining, it was my first dream to reach that. I remember when I was with my parents in Florida, training at Billhorn stables, and this trophy and the ring of the $1 million rider, and I remember thinking that one day I'm gonna reach that. So I was like 15 by then, that I already thought that was my goal. So I had that goal even before I started doing shows. So it was pretty early that I set that goal for myself.
And what is now your next goal after you reached this goal?
Yeah, that was a good question. After I reached my goal, I was like, okay, so what's my next goal? And then I figure out that I just love to train and show, and I don't really need that goal anymore. And I have the feeling I ride also more stressless. I'm more relaxed now than I was before, because I was chasing this goal. Now I just enjoy riding, training and showing, and I don't really have a particular goal in mind yet.
You are training now for Elementa, but your parents has also an own facility together with your sister, the Eiffel Gold Ranch. How comes that you prefer to stay abroad instead of training in your own facility?
Well, my sister is still at my facility, and we still have the facility. But I decided 5 years ago to go on my own, kind of a bit, to grow up and to see a little bit of the rest of the world. It was never my intentions not to go back, but I have to say, the longer I am away from Belgium, the less I feel the tension or the drawn that to go back. I might not go back to Belgium, because it's never been really my country that I felt really home. Because when I grew up in Holland until I was 16. So actually I feel much more home in Holland than I feel home in Belgium. The longer I'm away from Belgium, the less I have the feeling I want to go back.
How did you grow up? Where were you born?
I was born in Belgium, but my mom had a little clothing shop for kids in Eersel, which is near Eindhoven. It's like on the other side of the border, really close to Belgium. My mom preferred also to live in Holland, and she is from Holland. She is born there. My mom has 12 brothers and sisters.
Oh, wow.
So the whole town was family, basically. So I loved to grow up there. It was the best place in the world to grow up. After that, I wanted to proceed my dream in horse riding. So we went to Belgium because we had the place there. There was more land, and we found a beautiful place in Montenau, which had a lot of hectares to put the horses on, and we start breeding horses, and I start training horses, and that's how my dream came true. But in the end, I never felt really home there, because I was or on the ranch or on the show or on the ranch. So I lived there for 20 years, and I know my neighbor, and that's it. I don't know anybody in the town there, because I was never social there. I was always or on the show or working, but I never went out. I never did anything to meet people there. So now I'm not sure if I ever want to go back, because I have really nothing to go back to. My sister, yes, and my mom, but they can also come to me, and they love Italy. So who doesn't love Italy? And I am always also a person that loves to be warm. And where I live in Belgium, it's the coldest place in Belgium you can find. We had winters where you have 6 weeks of minus temperature during the day. So I had frostbites all over my body. I even miss a piece of toe because I froze it off. So then I'm thinking, my job is 99% of the time outside. So why would I choose a place to live where it's winter 7-8 months of the year? Now you're less emotional and more realistic about what you want and what you like. I like warm weather, and that's not in Belgium.
So when was the first time that you ride a horse?
I was very young. My mom and my sister were already riding, so as soon as I could ride, I sat on the horse. I started taking pony lessons in Eersel, I think when I was 7. And I remember that I was really not brave. And my mom put me in the beginners class, I think 4 times, because I didn't want to lope. I want to walk and trot only. And my mom was scared if she would push me to lope, that I would be so scared that I would stop, and she would be terrified if I go on the ballet or do anything else, because my sister and my mom loved to be at the manege at the riding school. So she said, no, you don't need to lope. Just go again in the beginners. So I think I did that like 4 times. Then I loped, and then I never stopped. So,
But that was a classic way to ride.
Yes.
When did you switch over to the Western style?
I think I was like 12 or 13, around that age. By then I had a pony that did dressage and jumping. I had my own pony. I started off with the lessons horses, but I think when I was 10 I got my first own pony. I had him for like 2 or 3 years before I moved to Western riding.
Where did you train? Western?
It was still at that same place. It's a big riding school in Holland where they did dressage, jumping, and they also had a teacher for Western riding. So first I was looking a bit because they had 3 indoors arena. So I went to look sometimes at the indoor arena where they did the Western riding, which was like basic, because it's like many years ago. But I really loved that style, and because my pony really hated the dressage lessons. He was just so bad always. He hated it. And my teacher kept saying, you have to hold him and squeeze him and pressure him. And I could just feel he hated it. So after a while, I started to hate it too. And then I saw these lessons in the other arena, 1 hand, loose rein. Everybody was chilled. Nobody was sweating. I was sweating my butt off when I had to do my dressage pony. And I was 12, so I was really like, it's not necessary, to sweat so much. I look at the other arena, and everybody was so quiet and so chilled. And then actually at the same period, my dad wanted to breed horses. For whatever reason, I don't really know why, because he doesn't ride. And so we were reading about the quarter horses and how they are, the temperament, and how nice and sweet they are. So my dad was like, maybe we can breed quarter horse. It's something new, and you like the Western lessons at your riding stables. So then we went to the States, because we used to go to the States a lot for friends. And we went to visit there, and we found some quarter horses. And there we bought actually my first quarter. and brought it over.
So your parents started the Eiffel Gold Ranch exactly with the first quarter horse which you bought in the States.
Yeah. And in the beginning there were mostly paints because my dad loved the paint horses. So I think we bought the first time we went to the States to start our breeding program, we bought 10 mares, 8 paints and 2 quarters, and they were all in fall, and 2 stallions. And that's how it all started. And if you look back, it sounds so strange because I was 14, and who doesn't want to breed horses at 14? But yeah, somehow my parents were completely committed with me as a 14-year-old girl, and I still remember us going there, and it was an amazing time. I have very good memories on that.
And later on, where did you improve your Western riding style?
Yeah, so when we got our first quarter, she was 4, and she was bred to be a reining horse, but the teacher at my riding school was more all-round. He did also reining, but I did in the first, I think 2 years, I did everything. So we had these little regional shows at the riding school, and I would do pleasure, trail, horsemanship, reining, barrel race, and pole bending all on one day. So you just saddle and go. So warming up, nobody heard of that before. It was just saddling and going and have fun. So I did that, and but then I was drawn the most to the reining. But I started off doing everything. I did also the English, the Hengst equitation and everything. But I really liked the reining the most. So that's when we decided to go back to the States and find a reining trainer. And the friends of my family, they lived in Fort Lauderdale in Florida. So my dad just looked up in some book he found, where is a reining trainer nearby. And so they find Bill Horn. But that was also because he was on the cover of the Paint Horse Journal that was in the gas station. That's how we met. And later on, now I know how important Bill Horn was in the reining and in the industry. And we were just very fortunate and lucky to meet in these weird circumstances, from going to a gas station, buying a Paint Horse Journal. Oh, look, it's Bill Horn and he doesn't live far from here. Let's go check him out, And so it was really, really funny. So we went there, and I was 16. I never sat on a real reiner before, only on my mare, she was 4 when we bought her, and she could not really do reining. And my parents say, yeah, we have our 16-year-old girl who is really into reining. She wants to learn. Can she have lessons here? And Bill Horn is not a talker, and he's really also not a very open person, so he was like... And his wife was connecting good with my mom right away, so she said, oh yes, no problem, let's come in. And you could just see on Bill Horn's face that he was like, oh my God, what is my wife putting me up to now, And so the next day we went back, and he said, yeah, you can ride that one. So I go in front of the barn, on the concrete floor, I will never forget, on the concrete floor, and I step on, but I never rode with one hand before, and while I go on the horse, my neck rein touches the neck, and the horse starts to spin like a crazy person on the concrete, and I didn't know how to stop it. I got a complete panic attack, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? So yeah, it was a mess. He didn't have an arena. So we were riding in the field in Florida, and he had a racetrack where you could stop. So first time when he asked me to stop, just run down there and say whoa. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna fly off so hard. So I went like, go faster, and I was like, oh my God. I never stopped before, and then I saw on these horses that were doing 74, 75. It's like putting a child who never drove before in the Ferrari. I was completely a wreck. So, it was really a mess. And they told me I could stay for 6 weeks. So that's what we did. Next summer I came back, or the next holiday I came back and I stayed. And I think the first 10 days, Bill Horn didn't speak to me at all. He just said, write that. And I was like, okay. And I even say to my mom, like, no, I don't want to go back there. He doesn't like me. And my mom was, no, we said we're going to go, or we're going. Okay, so every morning I went with the face like, oh my God, here we go again. But after like 6 or 7 days, my mom and his wife were drinking wine in the evening, having fun. And he said, okay, Cira, you still want to ride some more? So I was, yeah, okay. So, okay, let's go. And that's when the ice was broken, and he started talking to me, and he teach me everything. And I remember that he put like a white caulk on the grass to teach me how to make a round circle and stuff, and how to stay straight for the lead change. Although his lead change program was just, go to the other side. So it was not really, but then it was super nice. And I stayed with him for, I think for like 10 years or something, until he retired. And even when he was retired, I went back to him a couple of times until he passed away. But it was an amazing time. And that time when I was there, we bought Little Gump, which was the first real reiner for me that we bring home. And that's the horse that teach me how to do reining at home. But I bought him at Bill Horn's place. And that's how we got into reining. And through BH, we bought some more mares and started to breed reining horses, because in the first couple of years we just bred all-round paint horses that were, nice to ride, but not a particular discipline.
Do you think there are differences between the reining scene in Europe compared to USA?
Yes, I think there is. But I think it's mostly because there it's much bigger. So here everything is small, and there are only so many customers and so many good horses. And I think even this is getting better in Europe. But in the States, the trainers, for my feeling, they work more together. But still you have groups. Like there's a group that... friends like Casey Theory gives a horse to Jordan Larson when he has too many, I think that's harder here because we have not so many horses that you say, oh, I have 5 show horses, let's give one to Grisha, It's just not, I would do it if I would have the opportunity to work together. If a horse wouldn't fit me and I think it would fit Grisha great, I actually did already in the past say to my customer it would be a good idea to send him there because it's not my thing. But here you don't see that a lot, which in the States you see it a lot, that people say, it's not really connecting with me, or I have too many, let's send it to him because he's amazing. Here the sport is a bit too small, I think, for that. It's not... I don't think we are different in the attitude that we are not social, or that we don't like each other less or more than there. I think it's just bigger there and smaller here.
How many training horses do you have? You're at the Elementa now. How many horses do you train?
Well, we have quite a few horses there. We are with 4 riders there, and we all ride about 10 horses. So we ride about 40 horses a day there. And I like to switch a lot. So I have my assistants ride a couple of weeks some horses, then I will take them over. So it's not like we divide it and they will always stay with the same person. So we rotate about with the horses, and by the time it's time for me to prepare them for the show, I maybe get that, but before somebody else rode it for a while.
How does a day-by-day looks at the Elementa ranch?
Well, I get up at 7 in the morning, and I have to drive half an hour to go to Elementa from my house. So I leave around 7:30. I arrive at the ranch around 8. Then I start riding. I have a groom that brings me the horses, and she warms up the horses a bit, or she walks them after. So we ride about 5 horses before lunch. So we go to lunch at 1, from 1 till 2. Then at 2 we start riding again, most of the time until 7. So we ride about 10 horses a day, 9-10 horses a day. If I have a big show coming up, I prefer to don't ride 10 a day and take 1 horse away, or 2 even, so I can take my time and spend a bit longer on my show horses. But if we have not really a show in the near future, I don't ride them so long that I need the extra time.
If you work for someone, do you can decide with the owner together of the facility which kind of horse you want to train, or is that
no, that kind of work is more a thing, my own decision. I decide who rides who for that period of time, so it's not the owner doesn't really need or wants to get involved with that. That's more my thing that I schedule for myself.
Do you breed at the Elementa?
Yeah. We had 9 babies this year, but they are born in a different place where the owner lives in Rome. So it's not really at Elementa that the babies are.
How important are bloodline for you?
And they are very important. I think it's the basic and the start of everything, that you need good bred horses. But for me, the way they grow up is probably even more important, that they grow up together, social, that they're a lot outside, so they don't get any leg problems when they're older. The food is very important. I think from the day that they are made in the belly until they are 2, I think bloodlines are very important, because if they don't have talent, you can train your butt off, but it will not make any difference. You need to have a horse that wants to do it, that be able to do it, that has the talent to do it. But I think it's just as much important that you make sure it grows up in the right way, so it's mentally healthy, that the legs were grown in a good way, that if you put your horse too much inside, you have more problems with legs later on. So they need the space to run, to develop the muscles. This, I have to say, was perfect in Belgium, because Belgium is green, it's wet, it's grass, it has, for me in Belgium and at my place in Montenau, it is the best way to grow up a horse, better than in Rome, because in Rome the weather is perfect for me, but it's not perfect for the grass. So I think it's harder to grow a baby in Rome than it is in Belgium. But then again, also, if you see in the jumping world how many good horses come from Belgium, it's big, and that's why I think Belgium is perfect to raise horses.
Kurze Unterbrechung. Wenn dir unser Podcast gefällt, freuen wir uns, wenn du uns positiv bewertest. In the beginning you said you prefer to ride mares compared to stallions. Why?
I don't know. I just have this feeling with mares, and it's not that I don't like stallions, and in fact at Elementa we have basically only stallions, so I have to learn also how to deal with them. I like stallions, but I have the feeling that I can trust a mare more when I need her in the finals or in the show. Always when I was training at home also, if I had like 8 2-year-olds, in the end of the day it was always the mare from those 8 that was my favorite one. So I don't know really why, but statistics in my past proved that I'm more a mare person than I am a gelding or a stallion person.
Have you ever had this one very close connection to one horse?
Yes, but I have many actually. It's not just one horse that I love. I love all horses. That's my problem also a bit. But as soon as they become my show horses, the relationship gets stronger. I for sure have in my past, in my career, that the two horses that really made the difference in my career were for sure with a Sunny Sailor and Colonel Shining Gun, because they were the two horses that were in my career when I went from the non-pro to the open pretty early in that career. And they were...
When was that?
In 2011.
Okay.
And when I made that change, it was a bit scary, but I loved it, and I will never regret that decision. I think it's the best one I made in my professional life. And then when With a Sunny Sailor came, he was the biggest hearted horse in the universe. He was so honest in the show pen, and he showed so many times, and every time he gives his heart, and I won so much on him, but he gave me so much confidence to put on other horses. So all my other horses got better because I had him. And then when I got Colonel Shining Gun, who was not so easy to show, but he had like this amazing talent to do what he does. Like he spins so fast and he stops so long, so deep, so easy, that he improved my riding skills in a different way than With a Sunny Sailor did. Because he taught me how soft you could be on the horse. Like before, when you stopped, you take your legs off and you say whoa, and you sit in the saddle and you maybe pick up a bit on your hand, where Jojo was like, just relax your butt, and he stopped. And I was like, whoa, that also works, you know. It's such a light thing, no hands, no feet, no whoa, no nothing. Mm. And because I found out that was even possible to stop with that less of help for them, I started to get better on my other horses, because I started to do less and less and less, because I knew it was possible, because Jojo could do it. And the same in the turn. You just point your inside toe to the inside and he starts turning. It was so light. This horse was so sensitive that he improved my riding skills tremendously, because then I figured out I do way too much on my horses. To make them spin was like a whole thing, you know. And with Jojo, you just look to the right, open your toe, and he was gone, and he spun like a helicopter. So he teach me. He was very important for me in this way, and With a Sunny Sailor was very important for me in the other way, that this horse gave me so much confidence to show, because he was just so good. He never did anything to mess it up, and that's not so normal, because many horses try to do more or less in the show, and he was just that horse that you have outside, and he loved it also. This horse loved to go on the show. If the truck was open at home and you would leave him loose, he would go by himself and go stand on the truck to say, let's go to a horse show. He was crazy, this horse. I remember one time when we were showing in Manerbio, you had this door that opens towards the warm-up arena, and if I wouldn't stop him, he would just run in and do a run-in, which it was not our time yet to do the run. I really had to say, wait, we have to wait 2 more horses, then it's us. But he was crazy about showing. I never had a horse that loved it so much than him. And because of Sailor, I was good at showing Jojo, because Jojo was very nervous in the show pen, and you had to be very zen, quiet, soft with everything you did. Every movement he picked up. So, but those 2 horses made a change in my riding career.
So can you feel that, would you say that horses have a kind of stage fright?
Yeah, I think for sure. I had a couple of really good horses that could just not handle it, to do it in the show pen. And it was very unfortunate, and even with schooling them, going lots of shows, telling them it's okay, they could never reach that same level that they could do at home when nobody was watching. in the show they couldn't. They just froze, or they were just scared, and I could feel the heartbeat of them in my legs. So it's not that they were really scared, and they couldn't do it. And I had some horses they could also not get over it. I had also horses that needed to start, like myself actually, because I was very nervous when I started showing, and I really had to learn not to be nervous. And some horses get over it, some riders get over it, like me. But also some horses I just give up. They became really good brood mares, or they went on to a next life where they didn't have to show because they were just not made for it.
What did you do for your stage fright or against it?
Well, for me, my trick at the end of the day was, as soon as I got more horses to show, it got better, because I couldn't stay nervous all day. When I had to go to the show with one horse, I had all the time in the world to think about it, to like, oh my God, in 1 hour. So I made myself crazy. Then when I got 3 horses to show, I was like, now I have to do this. And then my mind was busy on stuff I had to do, and I was not stressed anymore. That was my help. But I never talked about it with anybody or had help from a coach, a mental coach or so. I know that those things are now very popular. Many people do them, but I also never heard of it when I was young. So by the time it was gone, I don't need it anymore.
You mentioned that you thought that it was quite frightened to become an open rider.
Yeah, I remember that I was thinking about it a long time, if I should do that, because in the beginning our ranch at home was breeding horses. I would start them, train them, and we would sell them. That was actually the basic thing there. But I found out that what I love was training and showing. So then it would make more sense if I would start to ride in the open. So I had also the ability to take in customers and ride other horses than ours that we have bred. And in the beginning that was pretty scary, but also at that time in the non-pro I was pretty successful. But in the last 2 years, I lost a bit the competition. I didn't really feel the competition so good anymore. So it didn't motivate me to go back home and train harder, which if you go to the open and you don't win, which is, many times the case, because there are many good riders. So if you go in the finals, everybody has a chance to win. But then if you didn't, you go home and you say, I have to fix this. So in the non-pro at the end, I lost a bit that fighting spirit, because it became a bit too easy. Even if I made mistakes, I was still able to be in the top 3. And then when I went to the open, I really had to step up my game and become really better, which motivated me, but that's my life. So I love it.
So when you describe this, what is fascinating you to travel that much to shows? I mean, it sounds a bit horrible, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I have to say that the motivation of all the traveling came to become a $1 million rider. Mm-hmm. And when you have all these good horses, you just cannot wait to go to the next show and show everybody how cool they are. So it's a little bit like a snowball effect, I think. Once you get rolling, you just go and roll and roll and roll and roll, and you cannot stop it anymore. That's the problem. Now, Corona really made us stop. So I have to say that the beginning of the Corona time, first I got really stressed. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And it's not possible. How do I live, Then when I realized there's nothing I can do about it, it's gonna be like this, that we have to stay home, I enjoyed it so much. I was so happy, and I felt sometimes a bit guilty because I saw all these people on the television saying like, oh, and I cannot go, and I'm sad and depressed, and all these people were like, cannot go to the bar and to the restaurant, and I was like, I love it at home. It was so nice. I enjoyed it actually a lot because we've been on the road since 2011, never stopped. For the future, I don't feel that much motivated to do it so crazy again. I would prefer to do a little less, like not spend 4.5 months a year in the truck. That would be great. I mean, find a balance. Also, you get, I'm not saying I'm old, but you get older. You've done all that crazy stuff from going from one show to another, or doing more than one show in one weekend to get more money for the world title or stuff like that. That is a little bit behind me. Now I just want to focus on riding and training and just pick some nice shows and go there and perform and show the people what you worked on.
I mean, we hope that we all can go back into the normal life, a bit more normal, but maybe not so fast like it used to be before Corona. But how do you prepare your horses and yourself for the Americana?
Americana will be a big thing for me. I also really like that it's a trophy and it's not a derby, not a futurity. It's for horses all ages, which I think is very important that we keep having these trophy shows. Because for me at this point, there are so many shows, but there are like 100 little derbies, 100 little futurities, and the older horses are getting forgotten and they are not finished at the age of 7 or 8. They can still go and have fun. So I think it's very important that we also keep people motivated to organize these trophies where horses of age of 10, 12 can come and still earn some money and be in the spotlights, which is a problem now because of all these derbies and futurities. Horses are a bit tired of it by the age of 8, and it should not be like this. So first of all, I'm very happy that shows like Americana are still going strong.
That is actually my last question. It's a fantasy question. If you could meet the 18-year young Cira Baeck, what would be your personal suggest or advice to her?
Well, sometimes I think about if I did something wrong or if I could have done something different. For me, sometimes I think that I would have liked to go to the States on the early years of my life, but to be honest, I don't think I would have become me the way I am now if I would have done that, because my early years at my own ranch, we bred, like I told you, just paint horses, normal horses, and there were some really difficult ones out there. And I really struggled because I didn't really have a trainer to help me or to come deal with it. And my parents, when I come back in the home in the night and I say, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know how to teach this horse. It's terrible. It's so strong character. I don't know how to deal with it. My parents always said, don't worry, just take your time. You'll figure it out. And they were like really easy with it. But eventually I did. Even if it took me 2 years, I got the horses where they were nice and sweet. I'm not saying that I could teach them at that point to do a +1 turn, but I got along and I made them do what I wanted to do with them. At that time it was maybe trail or riding over plastic, basic stuff. But I think the bottom line is that I learned not to give up. And many young trainers, they go to a facility or they start on their own, and there's a horse in training that they don't like or they don't get along. They call the owner to pick it up and get a new one. So they never struggled so long with it. And I had, because my parents say, I don't care if it takes you 5 years. You just need to get it done, don't give up. Just go every day and try again, try a different way. Try to approach it in a different direction. Try to do it like this. Just don't stick to one street to go straight. Go left, go right, go back, go all the way. So I think this still helps me now, that I'm not, if I struggle with the horse, I'm not like, oh, it doesn't work, he doesn't understand me. No, I will think about it and think, okay, this he doesn't understand, but maybe if I teach him like this, or if I explain him like that, maybe he'll figure it out one day, and not to give up and to stay quiet and over again. I like to see myself as a teacher of kids, you know. I don't want to be the policeman in my training program. I want to be the teacher that teaches them, and if we go to show, it's like the teacher having the kids to do an exam. That's how I feel. And then if they do good at their exam, at their show, I'm proud to be their teacher. That's how I see myself.
So you would just, when you could meet yourself as a young person, so that Cira means Cira, you would just wave and smile.
I would
say,
wave
just
and smile.
Go your way.
Exactly. I don't think I would change anything, even though I sometimes are tempted to think maybe if I go to the States, but then maybe it was too easy and I was not me like I am now. So I don't think I would want to change what I did in the past.
Oh, Cira, thank you so much for this nice talk, and hopefully we see each other.
I hope so too. Thank you very much.
You've listened to the Americana podcast, a production by Americana Limited.